Hello, family. Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, good evening, good
It's
afternoon.
whatever time of day it is where you are. Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. It's another Saturday evening, afternoon, time for Black and Married with Kids. And we are the Milburns. I am Barbara Milburn.
And I'm Joe Milburn,
And together we make
Team
Team Milburn.
Milburn.
And we are here with you another afternoon to give you another episode of Black and Married with Kids. And today we are talking about marriage is not a mind reading contest. Let me say that again. Marriage is not a mind reading contest. But before we get started, I'm going to get the housekeeping out of the way first. I want to start off by giving homage to my pastor, Dr. Apostle Dunamis D., and her beautiful daughter, Ariel Fuller, for giving us the opportunity to be here on Black and Married with Kids and to just spend a few minutes with you this afternoon and just talk about some things that we have learned along the way.
Yeah.
We don't take it lightly that she has given us this opportunity. This is something that she saw in us that we did not see in ourselves. And she has given us this task, this assignment, and we are staying the course until she says, okay.
Yeah.
So, Mama D, because that's what I like to call her, Mama D, because she is my spiritual mother. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. And I am hopeful, I guess is a good word, that we are doing a job that makes you proud of us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, family, if you weren't here at the very, very beginning when we logged on, we are the Milburns. I am Barbara Milburn.
And I'm Joe Milburn,
And together we make
Team
Team
Milburn.
Milburn. And if you have been following us, because we've been here every Saturday since December, put a 0 in the chat because that means that you are one of our heroes. And it's because of our heroes that we keep coming back every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who we are, you never seen these silly people on the screen before, put a 0 in so that we can come back and recognize you later because we like to recognize all of our new viewers and welcome them into the family.
Excuse me. Put a 1 in.
A 1?
Yeah.
A 1. I said 0
Yeah.
2 times. And thank you, Joe. See, he got my back all the time. So thank you, thank you, thank you for those of you who are joining in. Sometimes I talk faster than my mind can catch up with. A friend of mine told me one time that sometimes the mind can be like an old computer. It's a little low on memory and the processing speed is a little slow, but I catch up. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to the night's conversation. And we are talking about marriage is not a mind reading contest. Now, you guys probably think that Joe and I, especially those of you who kind of know us a little bit, who have been together for more than 4 decades, that we can probably finish each other's sentences, that we probably know what the other person is thinking, that we can predict what they're going to do next. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. But we don't always get it right. Try as we will, we don't always get it right. Have you ever said to your spouse, if you really love me, you would know what I'm thinking? How many of you ever said that? Drop it in the chat. I want to know how many of you have ever said that. If you really love me, you would know what I wanted. You would know what I'm thinking. Wrong. The love really doesn't have that much to do with what's on your mind because to tell you the truth, we change every day.
Yes, we do.
We evolve every day. The more we learn, the more we grow, the more God leads us, the more the Holy Spirit guides us. We change because you have to change to grow. And just because there is something that he may have figured out that I really liked a month ago, 3 weeks ago, last year, that same thing I might not see that same thing the same way again. So just because I know that he loves me does not mean that he can read my mind. The problem is nobody receives a magical mind reading gift when they get married. It just don't happen. Maybe in the fairy tales, and you know what I think about those fairy tales. It's a book that they put together to keep us be bedazzled or I don't want to say that word. I won't even go there, but it's a book that's not true. It's what it really is. It's a fairy tale. And a lot of us women, we grew up on the fairy tales, on the white horse and the knight in shining armor, and we expect that man to be that, but he cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, because his thoughts may not parallel our thoughts. How he was raised plays into it.
Yes.
How he was educated plays into it. What his friends do and don't do plays into it, because sometimes we pick up habits from our friends.
Other people, yes.
And somebody might say, well, say for instance, my girlfriend might say, well, you know, I did blah, 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 blah for my husband, and it really worked. And I might think, oh, dang, that's a good idea. I might come home and try that same thing on Joe, and he might look at me like I lost my mind.
Exactly, because everybody is different.
Everybody is different. Mm-hmm. Love does not mean that we automatically get the gift of kind of like, what was that show, Bewitched? You could kind of like do and it didn't work like that. It didn't work like that. And so many of our disappointments really happen. Got a little tickle in my throat, because we do expect our spouse to know.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not real life, guys. That's that. I don't want to keep using fairy tale over and over again, but I don't know what other word to use. What word should I use? Drop that in the chat for me. When you really just think that that's how it works, when you really, you off kilter. Your mind is not thinking. Sometimes, lady, we get upset because you come home from work. Maybe he didn't realize that you were tired. You come home from work. He never noticed that I had a bad day. Come in the door. Maybe sometimes you just need a hug. And you come in the door, you expecting that he's going to see you and say, hey, babe, come here, let me hug you. But he might have had a bad day too. He might be still trying to unwind from his day. And so for us to think that he should just like pop, ready, jump on our day, that's an unrealistic expectation. Guys, sometimes you are disappointed because we didn't realize that you needed encouragement when you did. Or, and I hear a lot of guys say this, you just needed a little quiet time. We all need a little quiet time, especially after a long day at work. You done put up with your people all day. You done drove home in the traffic, and we got road rage out there. You got people cutting you off. You got people blowing the horn, and you be thinking all the time, I can't wait till I get home. I can't wait till I get home so I can have a little peace. And you come in, and instead of getting peace, you might get bombarded with kids, especially the guys, because when daddy comes home, daddy, they're also glad to see daddy. They don't realize that daddy had a hard day. So to just, think that the other person is going to read your mind and it's all going to turn out well, it's so far from being realistic. And the sooner that we realize that, probably the better off we will be. We can laugh about some of the things now that arguments have come about, but just one person expecting that the other person can be the be all, the know all, the do all, the fix all. I'm sorry. I used to, maybe in some ways, and maybe sometimes I still do. Joe, what you think?
No, well, I think we changed, and I think trying to read your mind, we communicated a lot. We communicated, and I thought that I got everything together. Okay, I know if she come in with a bad day, I know go ahead and just try to encourage her and calm her down, and maybe fix breakfast, fix something to eat, or run a bath, or just say, let's take a moment and have a glass of wine to just calm down. Try to make your day. Now, I'm thinking that I'm doing the right thing, but not all the time you want that to happen.
Right.
You just want to go somewhere and sit and meditate and be quiet, but I'm going off of past behaviors,
Right.
and that's not always the way to go. Somebody in the Sabrina, she said, if you pay attention, you should know. But paying attention, and I do know you well, but at that time, I don't know what vein you are in, and see that causes some kind of confusion, friction. That's a good word. Thank you. And so I have to sit back and wait,
Right.
talk to you,
Right.
communicate, and make sure that I'll go in the right path to kind of encourage you and settle you down.
I agree. And on another note, women, and let me just speak for myself. I can't speak for all you guys because I don't know all you guys personally, but you heard the phrase women are fickle. We can be. And on my way home, I might want one thing. By the time I get in the door, that whole thought might be something totally different. So to think that after 43 years, he ought to know, I think that's a little selfish on my part. I really do. I really do. And one of the things, the greatest things that we can give each other is clarity, not hints, not signs, not side eyes when they do it wrong. Stop expecting them to decode secret messages. Just clear, loving communication. And as we have gotten older, Joe and I learned that talking honestly really saves a lot of unnecessary hurt feelings. And I want to say this now because this seems like a good time to bring it in. Someone said to me just today, every Saturday, I invite more and more people to join us. And some people do, some people don't. I get that people got lives. But more times than enough, I'm not married. I don't have no children. Okay. So, my opinion, marriage is a relationship. The same things that you can use in a marital relationship when it comes to communication and learning your spouse, you can also use in relationships with mother-daughter, brother-sister, friend to friend. It doesn't matter. We're talking person to person. It's a person to person connection. And the more you clarify what you mean with that person, how do you think best friends become best friends? When you see two sister friends who have been friends forever, and they almost think and know each other, but still there are times when they get it wrong. But they didn't get it right in the very beginning. They got it right by trial and error. Yeah. When you said something and it was wrong, and the other one said, "Oh, child, girl, I don't do that no more. I do blah, 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 blah." Oh, well, when did you change? I stopped doing that when so-and-so happened. We change, we evolve all the time. So instead of saying, you should know, say, this is what I need.
Yeah. Clarify.
This is what I need. And I asked Joe, how many times when you talk to me, do I, and sometimes I think you might think I'm picking, but I'm really not, to clarify what it is that you're saying before I really answer the question, because Joe, a lot of times, and we've been together so long, I think he really does believe that we do read each other's mind, but it's like he thinks in his head before he spits it out. Yeah. So he might be thinking, and then he'll spit the rest of it out, thinking that I got the first part, but I didn't get the first part because the first part was up here. He was thinking it, but he wasn't really saying it. So I have to say, babe, what you mean? Or, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Can you clarify that for me? I'm not picking. I'm just trying to understand what it is that you're saying. So instead of guessing what you mean, there you go, Demeter. Communication versus assumptions. And Joe said he wasn't going to go there, but I will. We all know what assumptions do. They make an ass out of me and you. Spell it out. ASSUME. It's nonsense.
Mhm.
Thank you, Danita. Thank you. And Pamela said, yes, Sister Barbara.
Yeah.
Maisha said, do you know? Yes, ma'am. We know. Maisha said, you know what you said about assuming?
Yes,
We
yes,
all on the same page.
yes.
Their marriage, it just it's a lifelong conversation. We are steadily going back and forth, learning each other. We just came back, and it was so funny because we just did that episode about traveling with each other without getting on each other's nerves.
Yes.
And we just came back off of a 5-day tour. We went to Cincinnati, was where our hotel was, but most of the places that we visited were in Kentucky. So we spent a lot of time on the bus, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then when we got to the events that we went to see, we didn't go as a group most of the time. They just kind of let us go off on their own. So most of the time, Joe and I were together. I have a poor sense of direction, so I had to depend on him to lead me around. Now, sometimes he may have gotten turned around and went the wrong way. Now, I could have said myself when he got turned around, well, I thought you knew everything. But I didn't say that. I was like, it's okay, honey, we'll find it. We'll find it. We got all day. We got 5 hours. It's not a rush. So just take your time and go with it. So let's see what else they're saying in here. Look, they jumped right in.
Yeah, so this is a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Don't assume nothing.
nothing. Because, like I said, we all are evolving. We all are changing every day. Every day.
Mhm.
When you go to bed tonight and you wake up tomorrow, you wake up a different person than you were the day before. And then life's issues or traumas, sometimes it could be, I don't know, a death in the family. It could be somebody getting ill. It could be um, just any traumatic experience. It's going to change you.
Mhm.
It's going to change the way you think. It's going to change the way you react. So when you experience those type of things, you're not the same person that you were before that happened.
Okay. Let me talk a little bit about reading your mind, you know.
Okay, and I'm gonna check in.
Yeah.
I'm not ignoring him. I'm checking the chat. Okay, guys.
Here's one thing that I used to do with Barbara as we go out. I pay attention to what she likes, what she's looking at. So that's giving me information for presence for her and when these occasions come up. So we're out in the mall and she's looking at, I'm going to say a dress. And she go by and she'll look at it. And if she come back and look at it again, here we go again. I'm assuming that that's what she likes. So after we leave the mall and maybe the next day I'll go back to the mall and buy the dress and put it away, you know. But that was that day she liked it. When I give it to her as a present, she'll put the face on. Oh, honey, it's nice and this and that and the other. But I got the impression and I got that feeling she don't like it now. So I'll say, "Oh, honey, you can take it back if you don't like it," you know. And I didn't get mad, but I thought I was reading her mind and getting her what she wants. But now that we've been together so long, and the later years, I do the easy route. I give her monetary gifts and let her get what she wants, you know. So I stopped trying to read her mind and everything.
I like the money gift. You can always do what you want to do with that. Even if you spend it on, I don't know, grocery shopping. Say you were the person, and I don't know how households are divided up, but say you were the person who did grocery shopping. And if you give me a money gift, then that means I ain't got to spend my money to go groceries. So that's still a gift. So,
Yeah, but it's not that sentimental gift.
see, that's how you think. That's not how I think.
True, true.
So then we go back again to trying to figure out what the other thing. A lot of times, oh God, Joe is hard to choose for when it comes to gifts because basically he doesn't need anything. So I don't like to just give money I like to find something that I think he might use. And all these years, I still have a hard time. If Father's Day is coming up next week, I have no clue. None. I try to pick his brain. And it's funny sometimes trying to pick Joe's brain because he gives you these like real short 2-word answers.
One word sometimes.
Yeah, which really doesn't give you much leeway to pull anything out of him. It's a chore. I have actually sometimes gone the back road and asked somebody else to ask him because they might get a more precise answer out of him than I will if I asked. But when we're talking about like communication and reading each other's mind, hints that we sometimes make, they're not communication. Like sometimes we'll go as if to say, ain't you got it yet? That's not really communication. He could interpret that any way he wants to. Or how many of you have said this? How are you today? Oh, I'm fine. And we put a smile on it. I'm fine. We be lying. we be lying. We ain't fine. Sometimes we're covering up what the boss just said to piss us off. Sometimes we're covering up what happened the night before. If the night didn't go like we wanted to, we could be covering up that person who cut us off on the way to work that day. But we'll smile. I'm fine. I'm gonna make up an acronym for fine. Maisha, help me with that.
Yes.
What does fine really mean? Because trust me, it don't mean fine. Do whatever you want. How many of us say that? Whatever you want, honey. We don't mean that. And then when they pick what we don't want, then we got a little attitude. You do that? Drop it in the chat. Hello? Drop it in the chat.
And it goes that way.
But instead of saying you should know what I need, say, honey, can we talk? I know you really meant well when you did blah, 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 blah. And I really liked this at first. And I love the fact that you went back to look for it for me because that says a lot. You not only remember what it was, you know my size. You know what colors I like. So if it came in a variety of colors, you know which one to choose. You went to the store, you bought it, you wrapped it up, you did all that. But baby, I don't want it. Please don't be upset with me because I love you for all that you did, but let's see what I want. Isn't that better than saying, all these years, you ought to know what I want? Like, really? Sometimes we can be so abrupt.
Especially when you been together for a while, you figure that she know what I want. She know what kind of sports I like.
Football.
And I know what kind of things she likes. No jewelry. I won't pick jewelry for her. But
no, that don't work too well.
And I'll come home with something. Oh, your birthday. I planned to give her a pamper day for her birthday. I did the research and I said, oh, I'm going to take her down to Rundle Mills and she's going to have a whole day to herself, massages and pedicures, manicures. And I decided to ask her, honey, do you want a pamper day? She said no. I was a little disappointed, but I went along with her. So I wound up giving her another gift, money.
Demeter on it today, boss. She says, I think we can get familiar in our relationships with one another. And we can, and we do. We get too familiar sometimes. And just like Mama D tells us all the time, don't get familiar because we're always changing.
Always changing.
We're always evolving. And what you wanted yesterday could be real different from what you want today. So you guys, especially some of you who have been married for a long time. I see Jacqueline Russell.
Valerie Nettles is on here.
Valerie was on?
Yeah, she's on here.
Hey, Val, if you're still here. Hey, Valerie. I know Maisha, you guys, y'all been married 20 plus years. Jacqueline, I know you've been married a long time. Yeah. And you don't really have to be married with the legalese and all that stuff. You've been with the same person for more than 5 or 6 years. Drop it in the chat if you think that person does a good job of figuring out what you think without you telling them Or do you think you need to be able to communicate a little better so that they will understand you and you will understand them? And then maybe they will get a little closer to what you really want. Because I don't believe they're always going to be on point all the time.
Sure.
That's unrealistic too. And a lot of times in marriages, in any relationship, just like I said before, it could be a mother and a daughter. It could be a father and a son. It can be two best girlfriends. We cannot expect that person to know all the time what we think. That's not real.
That's not realistic.
That's not real at all. And then to get pissed off about it when they don't, like, what? Why? Where is your compassion? Where is your love? Give the person a little grace. We all need grace. Jesus said, show love, show compassion. And in order to do both of those, there's always got to be a grace card. That's what we call it in our grief support classes. Because a lot of times we speak of how people can say hurtful things to people who are grieving, and we get angry with them. And one thing we have learned in the course of going back and forth to support classes is to give the person some grace.
I want Quetta Johnson said, to me, with gifts, it's the thought that counts.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say this with you. I know our Bill probably said that, Quetta. I think the same way, but everybody doesn't think the same. Joe has a friend, God rest his soul, he's gone on to heaven now, but they grew up together. They were best buds for pretty much all of their life. And his granddaughter gave him a gift. I don't know
his daughter.
His daughter. Okay, his daughter gave him a gift, a necktie. Apparently the tie was very ugly because he did not like it. I think she thought it was beautiful that she would not have gave it to him. But she said the gift, she said, it's the thought that counts, Daddy. And what he says, well, dang, what you think of me? That doesn't always work. It's said over and over and over again. I hear people say it all the time. It's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts. But it depends on the person who's doing the thinking. And because we all think different, we all grew up different, we all come from different cultures, we all come from different ways of life. What looks good to you might not look good to me. And I might think, well, Dad, she didn't spend much time thinking about this. She just grabbed the first thing she saw. And I guess that's what Harold thought when he looked at that tie that his daughter gave him, because he didn't like it. And maybe she did. Maybe it was a last minute gift. But he was not appreciative. And that's his child. So what can I tell you?
But I want to say Jacqueline Russell and Pamela Ellis, and I imagine a few others on here, where their spouses got it right.
That's good.
Yes.
Jacqueline got Melvin trained. Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Don't tell Melvin. But that is great, because I know I don't get it right all the time. From now on, I am, because it's going to be money.
And it's hard to tell if I got it right with Joe sometimes, because he doesn't really have like an expression. How some people like, you can kind of read their expression. Joe, he kind of got that same even keel all the time, and it's hard to know if
poker face.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. It's hard to say if he really liked it or if he's just telling me he likes it because he doesn't want to hurt my feelings. Which will be there.
No, I will tell you that I don't like it, but so far you've been good.
Okay.
So far you've been good.
I'll tell you what, I gave him a nice luggage thing for Father's Day last year, and he used it when we went away on a trip, and we were unloading at the hotel, and the contact hostess for the company that provided the trip, she looked at it and she says, "Oh man, that's a nice bag." And I just started grinning, because it was the first time he used it. First time he used it, he got compliments. So I was really pleased about that. So that made me feel better about the gift because the gift really didn't come like I expected it to. It was a little bit of false advertisement there. And when I got it, I was actually a little disappointed and a little angry because they told me to expect one thing. And when I got it, it wasn't there. And, then you got to go back and forth what you don't want in an exchange and yada, yada.
Mhm.
So sometimes it ain't even worth it. The money tree and the gift card is better. What credit say?
Mhm.
Credit say it took years for my husband to almost get it right. Well, he working on
He's
it.
working on
He
it.
working on it. As long as he working, that's a good thing.
It's still in progress.
Yes. So what was you gonna say?
No, you said a money tree.
Yeah, I like the money tree.
No, no, that's what you're gonna get from now on.
I like the sad thing about it is you gotta take it apart. But I love being able to go and pick off that money tree and go get my hair done and not have to come out of my pocket. To me, that's a wonderful gift. Pick out of that money tree and go get my nails and toes done on the day that I want to, and not because I got an appointed assignment to go get a massage that I don't really feel like that day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So different people feel different ways. We're all evolving, we're all learning. And marriage is just like any other relationship. If you don't communicate, like Demita said, communication versus assumptions. Assumptions don't ever get you anywhere. You got anything else you want to say?
No.
I want to look 6:33 every week when we get before you. We always say, we always think that we don't have enough material, and then we run through it so fast. The time goes so fast that we don't even really get to give it all to you. But before I go, I want to run through the rest of our team because we have a team of wonderful people who come just about every day of the week, and they all have good nuggets, good points, good things to share with you. And I think that if you signed in, um, I know life is busy. You may not always have a chance to sign on at the appointed time, but the replay is always there. I believe the replay sits there for a whole 30 days before they delete it. And if you would not mind, no matter whose replay you visit, when you get there, don't sneak in and sneak out and don't say hello. That's not good social media etiquette. Say replay so we know that you're there. That's just like when my grandmother used to always tell me when you walk into a room, you say hello. So when you click and you walk into this live, that's our room. So when you walk into our room, say hello. How are you? But on Mondays at 12 noon, what I forget?
Sundays.
Sunday, I always forget because Quetta changed today. Quetta, you messing me up. Sunday, Quetta comes Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. her time. Her topic is praying wives. And Quetta been praying really hard for that man. She say after all these years, he's almost getting it right. So Quetta keep praying, but she can talk about the things that she's had to pray for her husband about and the miraculous changes that she has seen, not just in the man, but in their relationship as she continues to pray and war for his legacy and for hers. And then on Monday at 12 noon, we have Dr. G. Glenda Bailey Hayden. She comes at 12 noon with a mom's minute. I think it's the most delightful thing because she comes at 12 noon, right in the middle of the day. And I say it is especially for mothers who might be home all day, mothers who might be homeschooling, mothers who might just be raising their families and they don't go out to work. And by noontime, they really want some adult conversation because all they've had all morning is little children. Quetta, Glenda has a lot of tips on how to de-stress, how to take your mind and kind of like challenge it to think a different way instead of thinking about being aggravated or frustrated, how to think about being just grateful that you got up this morning or grateful that you got these little children because anything could be different. Mm-hmm. She has some wonderful thoughts. And then at Monday at 7 p.m., we have the Bookers. Their main theme is infidelity in marriage because they can testify that Satan tried to use infidelity in their marriage to tear them apart, but God and the Holy Spirit allowed them enough wisdom and wit to turn that thing around and say, Satan, you a liar. You can't have my husband. And that's just how it is. So get over it. So they got a lot of wisdom. And then on Tuesdays, we got Pastor Gail and Stan Whitfield. Now, these are two strong pastors in the church. They pastor their own church. Their topic is faith in marriage. And they always come from a biblical standpoint. They're always going to point you to the word of God. They're always going to point you to what God has to say about the marriage, about your family, about your legacy, and they be on point every week. And then we skip to Thursday nights where we have Garrett and Lisa White. Their main theme is communication in marriage, and they always have some strong, heavy topics. I always say that the Garrett's conversations are really deep because they don't have no problem just laying it all out on the table. Whatever it is that they could maybe have been having a disagreement earlier that day, they're going to talk about it that afternoon because they're going to work it out before they go to bed, because we don't be going to bed angry. God said don't do that. Okay. So after that, it's us again on Saturday, 6 p.m. every Saturday. Here we are. And then we started right back around again with Quetta on Sunday. So every day of the week, you can find something that's going to give you some information about relationships. It's all about relationships. I know our platform says Black and married with kids, but you don't have to be Black. You don't have to be married, and you don't have to have kids to take these same nuggets and use them in whatever relationship it is that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So before I ask Joe if he has one more thing, again, Mama D, Pastor D, Apostle D, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for loving us, for covering us, and for pushing us to do what you knew we could do and we didn't think that we could. So, baby, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
Well, I got one last thing before I go, and I want you guys to think about this. A strong marriage isn't just two people who always know what the other is thinking. It's two people who care enough to keep asking, to keep listening, and to keep learning. Because love grows when communication replaces assumptions. Got that? Love grows when communication replaces assumptions. And with that being said, I am Barbara Milburn.
And I'm Joe Milburn.
And as Maisha and Booker says, like, subscribe, baby. See you next week.